Hello and welcome everybody to All the Rage Sports Podcast. As per usual, I have my lovely analysts around me, my expert panel. How are we doing today, guys?
Wonderful here on Take 77.
Andy's got a new spot, so we're not going to be hearing dogs the whole time.
Interrogation.
He's in his closet, is what he is right now. All by himself.
In the closet.
Well, we got some great topics to talk about our Week 6 matchups. We got some. We're going to go over our picks from last week, see who our winner is, see where the standings are. Actually, Kevin is quite in the lead right now. We're going to talk about some of the officiating that happened last week. Obviously, about the the Lions and Packers game. We're going to talk about some QB changes that are coming about, some underperformers, some high performers, some changes all around the league. We're going to touch on the XFL. We're going to lean in there. I've been looking at rosters here for the last few minutes here, just trying to see what kind of names are out there. And then, of course, we're going to do some trade talk. We're coming up on the trade deadline. Going to see some movement. We already saw some movement happen early this week, so we'll touch in on that. But that's all going to be coming at you here on All the Rage Sports Podcast. All right, guys. So the Packers-Lions game should have been won by those Lions. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. The fucking Lions should have won that.
NFL?
Yeah, there were some bad bullshit calls. And why do the Packers always seem to be on the receiving end of these calls? Like the Des Bryant catch, the Fail Mary. Like, what the hell? What do you got? Jace, I'm going to start with you because you're usually my stat guy, and I want to see what you're thinking of how this officiating has been this year.
Well, I mean, there's really no statistic to it. We've all seen how bad it is. This new bullshit pass interference challenge, you've seen they don't even want to touch it or deal with it, and there's no clear interpretation as to how that's actually supposed to work. I watched this entire game, and at one point the Packers had 13 players on defense, which was not called. But yeah, basically.
Fuck it.
Oh yeah, I couldn't even believe it. I had to go back and rewind my TV because I was like, "There's no way that the announcers didn't even pick up on it." And they had 13 guys on defense, 13 hats. But yeah, that and the two calls with whoever it was, Bakhtari, I think, just basically leaning his head back. And I think it was Trey Flowers getting up underneath, basically grabbing him by the collar and pushing back. And for some reason,
which is perfectly legal to get up in these shoulder pads.
Yeah, they say as long as you're not, you can't be like up in their neck or like pressing into their jaw or anything like that. But as long as you have a hold of the jersey and you're just basically taking the shoulder pads and pushing them back, perfectly legal. Which is, you saw both replays. The first replay I could see where the refs in real time might have looked like, okay, that one was a little sketchy. The second one that led to the Mason Crosby gimme wasn't even fucking close. Like, it was such a bad call. And I don't know how, they had to have known they were close on the first one, and then they blow the second one and gift wrap the Packers a win. It's been a bad year for the refs, and I don't think it's going to get any better.
On the first one, before he even got a hold of his fucking collar, Bakhtiari actually had a hold of his, didn't have a hold of it, but had a hand to his face mask, and they turned around and called illegal hands to the face on Flowers when he didn't touch his face.
Which the first one would have led to, I think it was 3rd and 5 was a
and they stopped him.
Yeah, they stopped him, and then automatic first down, and then the second one, obviously Mason Crosby field goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Lions curse, I guess, still. And the bad refs, but yeah, just horrible blown calls all season long. I mean, we're going to touch on some other games, but that was just absolutely horrible.
I think the big pass interference thing is really, really bothering me because it seemed like every year they add a rule because one team got fucked. And it usually seems to be the Patriots. They get fucked with something, so we're going to throw a rule out there to protect.
Unless it's the fucking tuck rule.
Yeah, tuck rule, the hitting the quarterbacks by the knee. I think I actually think that was chemo on Carson Palmer that probably caused that one. But that led to a Super Bowl for the Steelers, so I can't really say too much about it. But yeah, no, like the Steeler game, they had that roughing the passer where he hit him right in the gut. Like, I don't know how that was roughing the passer. They have the pass interference ones though really get me. I think like we talked about it last week. The only one was that one Terrell Edmonds one that's been overturned. There's no point in this review. Nobody wants to even dip their toes in that. No. Refs are afraid to throw flags anymore because, like, it seems like they're scared to do their job right now. That all it's doing is causing them to fuck up their job more.
Well, and it's just, I mean, bad call on top of bad call. I was also watching the Cleveland-Seattle game earlier in the day, and they call pass interference on the Cleveland Browns. The corner fell for a fucking juke from the receiver, went to try and reach out with his hand, and came nowhere near actually touching the receiver. And Russell Wilson overthrew him by 5 fucking yards, but they got a 1st and goal because they called pass interference. That's called Jarvis Landry for a crackback block, and he was actually running ahead of the runner in that play when he made the block. Like he was running up the field, not back down the field. Right. So, and those were both in key moments, and also helped the Browns lose against the Seahawks.
I think as far as it goes, like, I mean, the passing interference, like the challenging and everything, it's like handling like plutonium or something. Like, not even the guys that are reviewing all the stuff in New York don't even want to touch it. They're just like, just stick with their call. Like,
well, the problem I'm seeing a lot of the time is guys they're wanting to throw the flag and they throw the flag, but they'll go, oh, well, it was defensive holding now that we look at it because, it was before the ball was thrown, before blah, blah, blah. There was a play at it and this and that. And you can only review pass interference. That's the loophole. You can review defensive holding. So if the refs blow it, they can go to the review booth and just be like, oh, well, we didn't miss that because it was holding. So fuck you. Give us a timeout.
Well, and one of the things that I think is contributing to this too, I can't remember whether I actually touched on this last week or not, but they've been talking about it on other shows that I've been listening to or watching, is that a lot of the problem is that we've lost a lot of the upper echelon referees to better paying jobs in a booth on Sundays. Like Mike Pereira picked up that job, and they're actually getting paid more to do those jobs than they were as being a referee. So they're no longer, you're losing a lot of your higher tier refs to a better paying job.
Yeah, John Perry's working in the booth for ESPN. We need to put out a bat signal for Ed Hockley at this point, I think. Just do a giant bicep out in the sky.
I never thought that I would ever be pleading to have Hockley back. Because even his made-up rules make more sense than some of the other rules that have come about.
Well, he's a lawyer in the off-season, so he's just always spinning bullshit. But it works out in the end.
And for the brand, Pat McAfee is the biggest detractor of Alberto, as he puts it, Alberto Riveron. And he's the one that's making a lot of this shit as bad as it is. So
that's for sure. So now that we kind of talked about the officiating, I can actually start with our normal first topic, kind of do a quick little review of what happened last week. So we have talked about how the officiating's really affected everything, and it's literally decided games. So Patriots ended up winning on Thursday night. I think we were broadcasting during that game. We all kind of expected that. Panthers did a shellacking on the score showed a lot closer than the game was. Jameis threw 5 interceptions, which was hilarious.
And had a fumble.
And had a fumble. And
didn't he throw 2 in the time that we went golfing Sunday?
Yeah.
We stopped in at the turn at 9 for a beer and a pretzel between the 4 of us that were playing, and he threw 2 interceptions by the time we got a 12-ounce can down.
And Jameis was on the TV. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, Kevin was checking his fantasy team by that point.
Yeah. The Ravens beat the Bengals, which was kind of expected. The Bengals may be the worst team. They may be worse than the Miami Dolphins right now. I think that there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks, and we're going to touch into that in the quarterback segment here, but there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks that are going to lose their starting jobs after this year, and I think Dalton is one of them. Seahawks came back against the Browns. The Browns looked like they were going to win it. Seahawks did their normal thing, winning a close game.
With help from the refs as well, as I just stated.
Yes. But they came back and they won that one. Saints ended up 13-6 over the Jaguars. I think the Saints were the underdogs in that. And I don't get why they would have been, but they were. Now, Teddy Bridgewater has actually won 7 of the last 8 road starts that he's played. That is another one that I want to touch on when we get to quarterbacks of what's the future for Teddy. Chiefs dropping 2 in a row, dropping 1 to the Texans now. They're down to 4-2, so they're not looking like the saviors that will beat the Patriots for us anymore. Redskins in the toilet bowl ended up winning against the Dolphins on a missed extra point at the end.
They went for 2 to try to go for the win.
That was it. That was what it was.
Or try to go for the win, aka lose another game so we get the first pick.
Yes. The Eagles have done nothing but falter over the last few weeks, and they lost against the Vikings 38-20. Cardinals winning because Matt Bryan could not make any extra point. That's the one I'm thinking of. So the Cardinals now have a better record than the Falcons, 2-3-1. They're actually not looking horrible anymore. But yeah, they win because.
They barely beat a terrible Falcons team, though.
Don't you? Feel
what
bad
a dumpster! I was about to say, what a dumpster fire the Falcons are.
Oh, holy fuck, they are. Don't you feel bad for Matt Bryan though? They pull him out of retirement for him to go 1-5. Like on this shit Falcons team. I feel bad for him.
He's getting paid. Fuck it.
Well, I'll talk about the person I feel worse for here in a moment. Because you're about to get to it.
The Niners and the Rams. Niners win that one. Stay undefeated. Somehow they're the only team that's undefeated with the Patriots. Their defense is scary good. It really is scary how good that defense is.
Back on Adderall.
Yes, that's it. As soon as he goes back on that meth, he's good to go. And the Rams dropping to 3-3, and then we're obviously going to be talking about them later when we talk about some of the trades that happened over the week. Then Broncos shut out the Titans. I'm sorry about your luck there, Andy, but the Titans are garbage fire right now. It's pretty
Marcus
bad.
Mariota. I love you, Marcus.
I hope that everybody saw the meme that Kevin posted about the teams that are 90-1 against their opposing teams, because the Jets ended up beating the Cowboys, and there was no reason the Cowboys should have lost that game.
No.
Except for the fact that
Dak Prescott.
Stop taking the words out of my mouth.
He's usually putting things in your mouth.
But we don't talk about that on air.
Steelers came back. They were up to a 14-0 start in like the first 5 minutes of that game. So the defense really won it for them. Delvin Hodges didn't really have to do too much. Huh?
You said Delvin. It's Devlin.
It is Devlin. Sorry. Devlin Hodges really didn't have to do much. Managed the game well. He did throw that one pick, but I feel like that was more the receiver not coming back to the ball than it was Hodges' throw.
Well, and that's where I was talking about people that you feel sorry for. How bad should we feel for Phillip Rivers that he has been a consummate professional for this football team? He's a future Hall of Famer, and he's going to end his career being booed at home on a weekly basis.
Yeah, we're definitely need to touch in on the Chargers and just how sad it is that they don't have a fan base right now. They have more like the fact that it was like 80% Steeler fans in that stadium.
Their fan base
absolutely
is still in San Diego.
Yeah,
as somebody who plays there twice a year, it's like that every time. It's like South Oakland every time the Raiders go there as well. Well, it's a soccer stadium with like 8,000 seats, and you'll find out that like usually it's like 7,500 of them are visiting fans.
Wasn't it built just for the like upcoming Olympics? Isn't that what that?
Yeah, that's an Olympic stadium. They're waiting on the big stadium that they've put $5 billion into. The thing is it was a stupid and I'm not going to go too far into it, but it was a stupid idea to move San Diego there to begin with because they've never had a title Los Angeles, whereas the Raiders did. So did you really think you were going to get a lot of fucking fans for the Chargers? Raiders fans hate the Chargers.
Yeah, it would have made sense.
We hate everybody.
The Raiders to Los Angeles because they've been the Los Angeles Raiders.
And I'm gonna have to move my setup.
It just would have made more sense, and it looks horrible. Lions ended up losing. Yeah, absolutely. Lions ended up losing to the Packers. Packers moved to 5-1. That defense is really good, and obviously you have Aaron Rodgers, but it's like. I still am kind of puzzled on how they're 5-1 right now. Like
when I see old man Tramon Williams out there, still doing his thing, I'm like, what year is it?
How old
is Jordy Nelson? Is like Charles Woodson back there with him?
Up on green.
So looking at our picks, I was the only one that went with the Niners. But I was also the only one that went with the Lions. So those kind of evened out. I went 8-6. Jace went 9-5. Kevin went 9-5. And Andy went 8-6. Overall standings right now, Kevin is in the lead by commanding 3 wins over Jace with 57 wins. Jace has 54. I have 53. And Andy has 52. So right now, Kevin's kind of holding it down, and all he's got to do is pretty much pick safe here for a few weeks and prey on our upset picks.
If I remember correctly, when we started
blood's in the water.
I'm
coming.
Jace was down. Jace had the worst first week out of all of us. There, he did terrible that first week, and then since then, me and him have been picking a lot of the same games.
Yeah,
and Jace has made a comeback.
7-8-1 week 1.
And I would like to point out that I always pick first every week, so it's not me piggybacking you.
Yeah,
I am digging myself out of this hole slowly.
You slowly ticked your way. What really hurt is Kevin had that 6-9 week after week 4, and that caused him to drop.
Yeah, and then I think we all had winning records.
6. Yeah, we were all winning, and then that kind of spiraled from there. So everything is just going Kevin's way, but it's only a matter of time. So
before the season's over and I win?
No, not happening. So I kind of want to get into some of the quarterback issues. Now, I want to start with like quarterback changes that are happening. Obviously, the big one right now is Tannehill over Mariota. Tannehill has been announced that he will be starting. Do you think the Titans can rally around Tannehill and become better, or do you think it's just Tannehill's just a slightly less bad Mariota? Like, what is there any gain from this whatsoever?
Well, here's the spin I'm going to put on it as somebody who owns Derrick Henry in 2 fantasy leagues. I'm just hoping that offensive line's good enough. Throw to Delaney Walker, and the defense can carry him Trent Dilfer style to. I don't even care if they go 9-7. I just want Derrick Henry to do good, and I'm really, really shitting my pants now that Mariota's gone.
Well, Jace, Mr. Stats Guy, you want to look up Marcus Mariota's stats for the year?
Sure, why not? Also, before we get on to any more quarterback news, I do just want to bring up I have a beer here, and if I could pour it out, I would. We lost one of the great ones today. We can all finally step off the Brock and Roll roller coaster. Brock Osweiler has retired from the NFL.
15 and 15.
No! The future.
And he finessed like $3 million in his last couple of seasons in the NFL. So enjoy whatever mansion you're going to be in, pal.
Oh, I don't know how that man made as much money at the end.
I wish we could go back and there was a way we would have recorded Kevin all those times. He was just running around beating the war drum. He's the next Peyton. He's going to sit behind Peyton, and he's going to be the greatest thing ever. You guys watch, because Kevin is John Elway, just fatter.
Can I do the last one, Jace?
Yeah, go for it.
Rock and roll.
Thank you.
I'm actually a little bit better than John Elway because I have picked some good quarterbacks.
He's so hard on his Minshew pick. Yeah, so I think that you were talking about the Tannehill. What did everybody get a discussion? Sorry, I had to get tea.
I didn't say anything.
Jason's looking up Marcus Mariota's stats.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look up. I have Mariota's stats pulled up. I want to look up him and Tannehill side by side and see.
Well, I just want to see what Mariota was doing this year.
I want to give a little comparison. I do too. I do too.
I want that for what I wanted to say. So if you just want to give us that, then you can do what you're doing.
Why don't you fuck off?
Hey, you just chill out. Much like I've said about the Browns this year, I don't think it matters who they put back there. They have a bad offensive line. The quarterback's usually running for his life. There's no amount of skill that can overcome having to get rid of the ball in 1.5 seconds before somebody's hitting you. I don't understand how those big men cannot stop a defender for 3 seconds, but they can't right now. They are getting ran over on the way to the quarterback. So that's the way I look at Tannehill's not really going to change anything. I don't think skill-wise he's a better quarterback. I don't think they have a better chance to win with him.
He definitely gets around as good as Mariota does. I mean,
exactly. He's just going to be more of a sitting duck back there. So
who knows?
As much as
pull some Nick Foles shit and just fucking start throwing bombs or something. Nobody knows.
Yeah,
we'll see on Sunday.
I mean, Tannehill moves well. Like, he wasn't like a scrambler like Mariota was, like an RPO type of guy.
Yeah.
But he can move. He can scramble.
Get out.
Not Mariota.
Okay, Kevin, I have your Mariota stat line. Ready?
Okay.
This year he had a 59% completion percentage, just about 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But what was his yards? He was only averaging about 7.4 yards per throw, but he wasn't. I mean, 59% completion percentage is not going to get it done in the NFL.
No, so his completion percentage is down. But what I was looking for is he's not throwing the ball away a lot. There's 2 interceptions is not a huge amount, especially when you compare it to like
him, actually.
Baker Mayfield's 11 interceptions that he currently has. So what the thing I think is going to attribute to whether or not Tannehill is any better is whether or not that offensive line's any better, because they're obviously, he's getting hit a lot. He's not really having time to make good decisions, I think, is a lot of the problem.
He can't even set his feet half the time.
So it's hard, it's hard to get a good completion percentage when you're just having to wing it out of there as quick as you can.
It's just like a growing trend that offensive linemen are down right now. Like, it doesn't seem like there's elite offensive linemen anymore. There's not like, it just seems like there's more bad offensive lines than there are good anymore. I feel like
it's because they keep losing pieces. The Rams have lost pieces this year, and that's contributing, I think, to their problems. The Browns traded away one of their biggest pieces, and that's contributing a lot. So I think it's one, you got some guys Maybe it's a little bit of guys getting older and the not getting as much of an influx of new talent yet. But I think the biggest thing is people just losing pieces.
Yeah, pass
and
growing too. I mean, just the way teams do things, defenses do things.
And you
go ahead.
You got to look at. I got interrupted like 12 times. I totally got thrown off there. But you got to look at, like, a lot of times, like what happened with the Rams. It's a big thing with depth is a key thing to these offensive lines, because guys to get beat up in the trenches, they take injuries. But when you have good teams, what happens is when you go to a Super Bowl, even if you didn't win it, you can go, say you signed a 1-year deal with that team. You can be like, oh, I was a key player, blah, 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 and go get more money somewhere else. And then as soon as a starter gets hurt, they're going to. I want to something fun real quick with Tannehill and Mariota. Career completion percentage between both of them is exactly 62.9%. Tannehill's TD percentage is 4.2 per game, and his interception percentage is 2.6 per game, while Mariota's is nothing's going to change for the Titans at all. Mariota's TD percentage is 4.3, and his career interception percentage is 2.5. They're identical. Wow. They're exactly the same.
Only Mariota is slightly more durable. Not a lot, slightly.
That's really difficult to say. Like, did that taste sour?
It's like picking between.
Well,
like
what Tannehill made one game last year before he got hurt. Mariota's good for at least 8 games, usually a year. Tannehill's missed like over 10.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe we'll get 16 games out of both of them. You never know.
Well, we won't get 16 games out of both of them.
Maybe if you can combine both of those sad-ass quarterbacks into one, you
comparing those two is like, do I want to have a hot dog slushie or do I want to eat gas station sushi? Like, none of it's going to be good.
It's going to end in diarrhea, regardless.
Yeah, regardless.
Yeah, I was just startled. I looked. That's why I was laughing. I didn't mean to interrupt anybody. I saw how close they are. They are. I know I mention it all the time, but they are the Spider-Man meme, just pointing at each other. It's pathetic. I'm trading Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I mean,
Kit Welligan's good.
What you have him in our fantasy? I'll trade you. I need a running back.
So fair enough. I do too.
All right, let's talk.
I have wide receiver depth.
Wide receiver depth.
I have a wide receiver
depth.
That's going to be the name of our metal band.
Wide receiver depth.
It can't be as bad as the wandering carcasses.
Yeah. So I guess the next point is, like, how many of these QBs do you think, like, how many teams do you think are going to be looking for QBs next season? Because that draft class of Jameis Winston, Mariota, I think they're on their 5th-year option this year. Is that right?
Yeah. All but 5 teams.
Okay. What are your 5 teams?
I was just throwing a number out of my ass, but I mean, if you look at that, that's about what it is. You can, if you look at it, it's almost as easy to go with who's got their quarterback and who over who doesn't.
Then who does? Yeah.
There are so many teams with shitty quarterback play right now.
I think what you're going to see this year is you're going to see a lot of veterans being. This is going to be a crazy offseason for. I'm just going to throw a couple names off the top of my head. I'm going to say possibly Phillip Rivers, Cam Newton. I think could be guys that get dealt to other teams that are just a couple quarterback and a couple other pieces away.
I could see that. I think that Jameis and Mariota will hit free agency. I think that Dalton might get free agency because of how bad the Bengals are right now. They may be taking quarterback with the number 1 or 2 pick this year. So I could see Dalton saying bye-bye. Redskins
Mariota's
obviously
Keenum. A great backup to Baker Mayfield. I'm going to say that.
That's actually not bad. That's not bad at all, actually. I think that the Redskins have Haskins, and we really haven't seen a ton of him. So I feel like they're going to roll with Keenum for the year. They've already kind of decided that their year's kind of shot, and they're probably going to let him sit and probably late season kind of see what they can get out of him.
It could
They've
also
already
be
filed their
interesting.
coach.
It could also be interesting too when they make their coaching decision whether they go the Arizona Cardinals route when they have an early pick, and they, because even the current coaching staff that they have they're not big Dwayne Haskins fans, so maybe they move on from Haskins after 1 year.
Yeah,
like the Cardinals
Josh Rosen situation.
I could see it. And it surprises the hell out of me because I remember that draft with Rosen where he was just talking about every team that passed on me is going to regret it. I'm going to make them pay. I'm the best quarterback in this draft. And he has been absolute garbage since he's got
well, I don't put that on Josh Rosen at all.
He's played for the Arizona Cardinals and the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't put that on Josh Rosen at all. I think Josh Rosen can still be a quarterback in the NFL. I think he just needs the right situation. And I mean, we might as well move on to the trade part now because we're so close to getting to that point anyways.
Yeah, we might as well touch on that. So a lot of what we were mentioning, Cam Newton seems to be a big trade bait type of quarterback that we could be seeing because Kyle Allen right now is, 4-0 as a starter.
9 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Christian McCaffrey is 4-0 as a starter, basically.
Yes, you're right. You're right. That whole offense has gone through Christian McCaffrey. The fact that I think there was a stat last week that McCaffrey has more total yards than the entire Jets team did, which is just insane. But I mean, they were running around with their third quarterback.
I think that was more receiving yards than their entire team, actually, or something like that. I want to look that up because I saw that same thing.
It was like 843 yards, and then the Jets had like 770 or something like that. But yeah, there is going to be some people and people are spinning rumors about AJ Green, Trent Williams, some other big namers. Obviously, we just had Marcus Peters dealt to the Ravens, which, from what we were talking about earlier before the show started, they kind of got a steal on him. Kevin's a firm non-believer in him, but I'm not. I do like Marcus Peters. But they got him for an undisclosed pick in that player. Is that what it was?
Kenny Young and future draft pick.
Here, hang on. Let me get my button out real quick. You want to know why Kevin doesn't like him? It's because he plays in your division now.
No, I didn't like him before when he went to the Rams because, as Chiefs fans would have told you, he was very good at getting the random interception, and he was a good return man when he got those. But he was a liability in coverage against good receivers.
Well, I mean,
as somebody who watched him play against Amari Cooper, I could tell you that's entirely untrue. You got to understand he was the.
Let's be completely and totally honest here through all and complete transparency. Amari Cooper for the Oakland Raiders is not the Amari Cooper that you've seen with the Dallas Cowboys. Amari Cooper for the Raiders was dropping passes and looking like he might be a bust.
His rookie season.
No, he's still the exact same because he's getting hurt and disappearing for game stretches at a time and everything like that.
That's more on Dak Prescott, I think.
That's been Amari Cooper his entire career.
Yeah.
And then what were they were talking? Like it was a quad or something, and he was just sitting on the sideline. Like they said he's in a lot of pain, and he was sitting there like falling asleep on the fucking sideline.
He never has any emotion, really.
I just didn't understand that at all. But okay. So what do you guys see coming before trade deadline? Who do you think's going to be dealt? Where do you think they're going to be dealt? And kind of like, what's your dream scenario? Like, who do you think is like would be amazing to see traded to this team? Kevin, I'll start with you. Let's
right.
kind of go.
One that I think right off the bat would turn a team from being fringe, like maybe they could make it just because of how terrible their division is, to an automatic big time contender would be, and I don't think they have the draft capital to do it. But if the Steelers were to make the move for Cam Newton, the way they're trying to run that offense right now, if you put Cam Newton in that style offense they're running, that would be fucking ridiculous. And would definitely catapult that offense up. But again, I don't think they even have the draft capital to even consider making the move. But dream scenario, I think that would be a big move.
Let's talk about how bad Russell Wilson is.
Okay, I'm willing to walk back my Russell Wilson statement, by the way.
You're not allowed.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I was talking about
a 15.
But I still don't believe in the Seahawks.
That's insane to me. No, just no.
I said this is not in the realm of possibility. But you said dream scenario. Dream scenario would be getting the chance to see what Cam Newton could do with that offense they're trying to run right now in Pittsburgh.
I will tell you Cam Newton's dream scenario, and it's not going to happen this season, I think, but I think this upcoming offseason, Cam Newton's perfect offense and the perfect team for him is in Chicago. And I'm sorry, but I mean, with David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen, the tight end and wide receiver group they have, and that defense, I mean, Cam Newton himself is probably good for 2 touchdowns a game. I mean, and that defense is, as long as you give him that, you're probably good enough to win. And
I can see it, but I think
the only thing I don't know how they do is move on from Trubisky and how they acquire him as far as draft capital and stuff like that because of the Khalil Mack trade. I don't know what they have left.
Yeah.
Also, with Cam Newton, I don't actually see him going anywhere this year. I don't think he will move until the end of the year.
Yeah, I think we can talk about dream scenarios with him, but I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, because I think you've got 4 games this year out of Kyle Allen. Yeah, you've won games, but you're still not exactly sure what you have in Kyle Allen yet. So you're holding on to Cam Newton, probably going to keep him sitting on the bench until Kyle Allen isn't working anymore.
Right. What do you think, Andy?
As much as I hate to say it, the Patriots are always looking for wide receiver depth, and Devontae Parker is one of those, like, fringe barely holding on to staying in Miami. So I think the Patriots could pick up Devontae Parker.
Probably cheap, too.
Yeah. I mean,
we saw a lot of wide receiver movement last year during the trade deadline, and I feel like I could see that happening again.
That was another one that I kind of was hoping the Steelers would try to make a move for around the time they made the Micah Fitzpatrick trade, is because, like I've said, the receivers for the Steelers just are not good enough at getting separation. Need a little more talent in the wide receiver room. But again, at this point, I don't know that they really want to get rid of too many more draft picks.
No, this is going to be the first time they haven't had a first-round draft pick since, like,
I think it was like 97 or 91, something like that. It was in the 90s.
Way before that. No, it wasn't. It was way before that.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different stat I saw.
86, 76. It was. Look that up, Jay, stat fan.
Look what up?
Last time the Steelers didn't have it.
Yeah, last time the Steelers didn't have a first-round pick.
So, okay, what would you say is kind of your dream scenario there, Jace?
Really, I don't see a lot of huge names I think we've seen the bulk of
the big names.
The big splash names as far as Jalen Ramsey going to the Rams and Marcus Peters going to the Ravens. I think those were the two. Marcus Peters I didn't see coming, but the Jalen Ramsey thing I think we all kind of knew was on the way down. The one thing, and I mean, this is just me being, you can hit your bias buttons, but I saw rumblings the other day that the Raiders were actually sending calls out to talk to the Bengals about AJ Green. So, I mean, they said they called about it, and I'm sure they called and went, here's how the phone conversation
I'm sure
went.
pretty much
Here's
every
John Gruden.
team.
They went, hey, Zach Taylor, would you like to trade AJ Green? And he went, no. And he went, okay, thank you. And then they hung up the phone. What happened?
Well, I could see AJ Green being moved. I can see that happening. The thing is, though, you're not. The reason it probably won't is because they're not going to get anything back for him because he is so injury prone.
I was going to say
he thinks
He's-
about a football game and he stubs his toe.
He's what, 6 feet on a high ankle sprain? Is that what it is right now?
Yeah. Well, and they have to realize if they're smart, which the Bengals aren't, because it took them how many years to fire Marvin Lewis, and then they hired Sean McVay's Gardner basically as their head coach. But AJ Green's problem is not AJ Green. AJ Green's problem is that offense and Andy Dalton.
Yeah, no.
And injuries.
AJ Green needs a new scenery, like new scenery, big time. I think that
Las Vegas is lovely. Sorry.
Listen,
yeah, unfortunately,
really
it's probably going to be New England.
Yeah,
Shut up.
And that's the shitty part about it is if New England thinks, let me just add another fucking piece to this offense.
Well, that's as soon
that
as
would be it.
I was about to bring up AJ Green, and as soon as Andy started talking about Devontae Parker, I was in my head just Bill Belichick, like, how can I get AJ Green for Devontae Parker price, and then he'll find a way to pull it off.
And he'll get Devontae Parker at the same time.
Yeah, I'll give you a 7th round pick. We won't give the Dolphins anything, but they're still going to send me a wide receiver because
you guys owe us for letting you in our division.
What? They'll just go to that the whorehouse that Kraft likes to visit.
Trade me Devontae, and I won't call Vince and send you to the XFL.
Well, I think a lot too. You could see certain teams the Dolphins have already done it, just dumping salary / future salary considerations in the name of picks and trying to build their team for the future. So the Bengals, you got guys like Geno Atkins, Giovanni Bernard is kind of like in the backup to Joe Mixon. You're going to want to keep Joe Mixon, but you can probably get some capital out of Giovanni Bernard. You look at the Washington Redskins and who they might be able to deal for picks as well to try to help solidify their future. But also then you look at the fact that Daniel Snyder's a complete and total buffoon, so they probably won't do anything that makes any sense.
Yeah, and Bruce Allen isn't any better.
Buffoon.
Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
Well, when you can pronounce words that have more than 3 syllables, you tend to use them in sentences, Jesse.
I see. Okay. I like it.
Sorry.
That's good.
Sorry.
That's 2 syllables.
Whatever. Well, we know Jesse's gotten out 2 syllables tonight. 3 has been a struggle for him.
Jesse's like, who said what about a syllabus?
He said asterisk or asterisk or whatever he said. Yeah.
Asterisk.
Take 936.
I just think that you are going to see. I don't know if the big names are going to move like we had last year, but I think you're going to see AJ Green move. I think they can keep talking that he's not going to, but I think he's going to. I think that Trent Williams could be another one that moves, and this one's kind of a weird one that I just kind of thought of now. What do you think about Kareem Hunt maybe getting possibly moved because of how well Nick Chubb's playing?
See, the trade rumor I keep seeing from the Browns keep getting linked to Trent Williams.
Right.
But also the other wide receiver that there was a couple of teams, including the Raiders, that were making calls about last week was drumroll OBJ. Because apparently the Browns are playing, get this, the Browns are playing bad enough that they're not playing to expectations, and because their ownership, because they're the Browns, is so bad, they almost fired Freddie Kitchens after last week. This was according to John Clayton. Like, they almost, because they were the hype team and they got all these pieces and they've come out to such a disappointing start, they almost threw him under the bus already to begin the season.
No, you wait until the Steelers play them because it's like 5 coaches now after the Steelers have beat them at home or something that they've fired. So, yeah, you just got to wait till the Steelers play them and then
Another
Kitchens
guy
will be
I
But
fired.
yeah, it basically sounds like they're already ready to sound the alarms in Cleveland and just burn the fucking place down.
But another guy that we haven't really touched on was Stephon Diggs. I mean, he's kind of in a weird. Like, does he want to be in Minnesota? I mean, they utilized the shit out of him last week, but I mean,
They said he's been linked to some rumors, and obviously the teams are like, no, we're not going to fucking trade Stephon Diggs. But when those rumors come out, there's validity to them some way, shape, or form. They don't just come out of thin air. You know, like the whole Tomlin going to the Redskins thing, that doesn't come out of thin air. The fucking Redskins jet was in the Pittsburgh airport with Redskins plastered on the side of it. So, like, those things are not fabricated. Yeah. There's some validity to them. You like that? I use the word validity properly. And I think there's 3 syllables in that.
4.
I hope people watch the YouTube videos so they can see you mute your mic 3 times and then go off camera to pronounce validity.
I had to type it in Google and have it read it to me.
So basically, I don't really see Diggs is the one person I think that was kind of like that whole Adam Thielen. We're gonna go on the ground and throw a temper tantrum because we're not getting the ball.
Yep.
7 receptions, 167 yards, 3 TDs. Can you really walk into the general manager's office after a week like that and be like, this team fucking sucks. Get rid of me now. You really.
Unless he already did it.
You're 4-2. Well, he probably already did it. They're like, all right, calm down. We'll work something out. And now they're looking at him like,
But the thing that's going to probably go below the radar too, as far as these trades moving forward, is going to be a lot of these teams, like maybe a Seattle Seahawks, some of these other like not top, but upper teams.
They trade Russell
looking to solidify some of their weaker spots. They just had the injury to Will Dissly. Probably wishing they didn't trade Vanette.
Yeah, now. Right. As soon as I saw that, I was like, wow, they probably wish they didn't do that.
So they might be looking to try to add a tight end. You got, they also have some holes on defense that need shored up before, when you hope to before the playoffs roll around.
There was that one year when Tyler Eifert was just phenomenal. It was a touchdown machine. And he's been injured ever since.
Yep.
Is that something you could see him being traded as well? Try to get some new scenery and see what he can do.
Melvin Gordon too. I mean, I think Melvin Gordon could still go somewhere.
I could see that.
I think that's the main thing we're going to see is a lot of teams that are already up there, not really necessarily making big splash trades, but just adding pieces to try to seal off their teams. Because, like I said, I still don't believe in the Seahawks.
Raiders extend Darren Walker, 3-year, $9 million.
Darren Waller.
Wait, just now?
Yeah, I just got the update.
We should be paying him more than $3 million a year. Fuck's sake.
$9 million a year.
Oh, I thought you said 3 years, $9 million overall.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant too.
Thank God.
What was I gonna say now? You fucking fucked me with Waller.
To the window, to the Waller.
To the Waller.
I think that the big thing was with trades is we saw a lot of the big names already go. Clowney. You see like the OBJ trade in the offseason. Antonio Brown. Like Patrick. The big guys have happened already, it seems. So I don't know how much more can happen because the teams that are contenders are the teams that have seemed to be in the receiving end of a lot of those. Now, obviously, the Steelers are 2-4 with Mika, but I'm saying like Clowney going to the Seahawks, they're what 5-1 right now. So like some of those big guys have already moved.
Another real quick to throw in there on a dream scenario type situation would be Josh Rosen. Um, and now hear me out. This is something I think that could be a possibility due to the fact of how terrible Jameis has played. Would be a Jameis Rosen and a late pick straight up trade between Miami and Tampa Bay. Get Josh Rosen with a good coordinator in Byron Leftwich and a good quarterback coach in Bruce Arians, and see if you got something. If you don't, your team's still fucking terrible. You get an early pick, you get a quarterback. But you've now at this point, Jameis had one good game and has now since shown that he's not going to be your future. It's time to start thinking about the future. So that's something that makes sense to me.
That makes sense. Bruce Arians, quarterback whisperer.
Yeah, I can see it. Obviously, his whispering isn't working well on Jameis.
One thing I do want to say is I think they ought to ditch Jameis Winston, and Byron Leftwich needs to come out of retirement.
One real quick thing. We were talking about trades. One last name I heard about a bunch before the offseason, but I was just looking contract extension up this year. Drafted Irv Smith Jr. behind him, who's been playing a lot more. I think Kyle Rudolph gets traded at the trade deadline this year.
I can see that. That might be where Seattle gets their guy right there.
That could be. Honestly, you were just discussing that. That could be an aging guy, a wily veteran, late round pick, and throw him a young prospect.
Because right now they're going with Luke Wilson, who I think he was like third on that depth chart.
He wasn't even on the team before they traded him.
Yeah, I was gonna say he wasn't on the team.
He was a hard knock star with the Raiders this year, and we cut him in training camp. And then as soon as the Steelers traded for Nick Vannett is when they signed Luke Wilson.
Yeah. And I mean, he's played well for them in the past, but still not a great target or anything along that lines. So yeah, I think that's a good point bringing that up. That might be the Eifert or the Rudolph kind of guy. They could probably get him for a cheap 3rd, 4th round pick and bring him in. So I want to just quickly touch on some XFL. I've been looking down through the rosters, and there's actually a few names on here that I recognize. I think it's really the big thing I want to kind of talk about is I think it's sad all at the same time that where was it? Cardell Jones for the DC Defenders. The fact that this guy at one point was believed to be a number 1 pick and he stayed another year, had a horrible season, comes out in the 4th round and doesn't make the team after 2 years, and now he's in the XFL. Like, this guy was believed to be a number 1 overall pick at one point in time. And I think it's really crazy to see how things change so quickly for him. Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe he'll come in, win a XFL championship or whatever the fuck they're going to call it. And maybe
they're going to give out title belts.
You get engraved tumblers.
To all 23 players on the roster, 11 players, and then a kicker to punter.
But
get a fake Lombardi engraved that it takes us 5 years to get.
One of like the fantasy like trophy ones,
where it's just bolted onto a piece of wood.
Here you go.
So he was in the big name, probably the biggest name on that list. We were talking about Matt Elam. He was a 1st round pick, I believe, for the Ravens, was it?
I don't know. I think the biggest was probably Landry Jones, because he's the one that I keep seeing is all the advertisements about through the
Landry
XFL.
Jones being
and Matt Elam was a 1st round pick for the Baltimore Ravens.
I'll tell you what, that Connor Cook Sammy Coates connection is going to be deadly.
Excuse me, I'm going with the Ginger Avenger, Matt McGloin. That's my dude.
Of course you are.
So yeah, I'm looking at these teams, and there's some that, like Will Hill's playing down there.
Cameron Artis Payne.
Yeah, Jason Mario is down on the Seattle Dragons.
Cameron Artis-Payne, and I don't know what the position designation is, but right next to his name, when the Dallas Renegades had up who they picked, it said, instead of like running back or anything, it said POS.
Piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
That's what I commented. It was one of our friends on Facebook. I was like, wow, I can't believe they've already labeled Cameron Artis-Payne a piece of shit.
The St. Louis Battlehawks are already my favorite XFL team. Their first 2 picks. Are you ready for this? Round 1, Christine Michael. Round 2, Brogan fucking Roback. Let's go.
Brogan Roback? Oh, man.
Oh,
the Broback.
Yeah,
Broback.
Oh,
fuck,
they're going to run the table.
I wanted to go with the Ginger Avenger, but I think I'm going to have to go all St. Louis now.
Tywan Jones plays for the Wildcats, the Los Angeles Wildcats.
Yeah, but it said, I was confused. It said he converted to linebacker.
Yeah, it says linebacker on there.
Maybe he got fat.
So now he's been in his life. He's been a running back, a cornerback, a running back, a cornerback again, and now he's in the XFL and he's a linebacker.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's some names.
Weird.
There's a bunch of people I've never heard of, which I'm sure they're like undrafted rookies or 5th, 6th, 7th round picks that just didn't make the team after a year or two. But they said it isn't it like every player makes the salary of like 40 or like 40 grand or something, 35 grand,
$55,000.
Jesus Christ. Can you imagine like if you get injured, that's not going to cover anything. Like,
well, I'm sure they have an insurance program for those guys.
Obviously, but I'm just saying, like,
but
if I'm making just under that, and I have health insurance, by God, Vince McMahon better be giving them. Call Highmark.
Matt Jones, ex Redskins running back, is also in the St. Louis Battlehawks.
So can we all pick an XFL champion right now?
I just said mine.
Yeah,
I'm taking St.
with
Louis
Jace.
too.
No, I'm St. Louis. St. Louis all the way.
Yeah, me, Jace, and Andy are all on the St. Louis train.
I gotta go with the Dallas Renegades. I gotta believe in my boy Landry Jones.
Broken Roback.
I didn't believe in Landry Jones when he was a Steeler. Why would you believe him now? I believe we had multiple texts back.
Plus,
I'll tell you what. As soon as Ben got injured, they were trying to make phone calls to Landry Jones, but he was already contractually obligated to the XFL. So you're all sitting here before you all shit on Landry Jones.
I'm not shitting on Landry.
Mike Tomlin was like calling him like an ex-girlfriend in the phone, like, "Come back, I miss you," and he was like, "It's too late.
I'm gone now.
I'm gone now.
I'm not going to be able to pay my student loans with this money."
I found another woman who with way less money, way less money.
The only reason I think I'm going to go with them though is they have a tackle that's name is Willie Beavers, and I just find that great.
That's a thing.
And
they get you a Willie Beavers jersey.
They have Lance Dunbar and Cameron Artis-Payne. So
who got Scott Orndorff, the tight end? He's in there somewhere.
Orndorff. Let's see.
We've spent way too much time talking about the XFL.
Yeah, this is like the Bills running back room. Why are we still talking about this?
Yeah, this is. Let's just get on to the picks.
All right. Well, let's go on to our. Let me get it up here. Our Week 7 picks. Teams on the bye this week are the Steelers, Browns, the Panthers, and the Bucks. So whoever's teams are being carried by lovely Christian McCaffrey, you're kind of fucked this week.
That's
so. Yes, that is me. That is 100% me, 120% me. The only reason I beat Jace the other day is McCaffrey scored me 51 points.
I'm currently going to look in fantasy to see if I can get my revenge game this week while he's on the bye.
Yeah,
who am I playing? Damn it, not you.
No, I don't even remember who I'm playing. I'm not doing good this year, so
I'm terrible. I'm not going to make the playoffs. Right, I think I won one game.
Yeah, you're bad. We're all not doing good. The only people that are doing good is like my father.
Yeah, we're all bowing down to Brian Baden at this point. And I'm not gonna lie, it pisses me off.
Yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like, how the hell is his team good? Like I looked at it after draft, I'm like, ooh. Dad, what are you thinking? And then he's out there just destroying teams. Him and Jordan. But Jordan always does good in the regular season and can't do shit in the playoffs.
He always takes like a quarterback in like the fucking second round, and Jordan just fucking destroys every year.
It pisses me off.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So we're going to start with our Thursday night game. That's tomorrow. A very, very nice matchup between the Chiefs and the Broncos. Chiefs going into Mile High. Is this the rebound game for the Chiefs? I believe so. The Broncos have looked pretty decent over the last few weeks. The Chiefs' defense looks horrible, but I believe this is the rebound game for the Chiefs. What do you got, Jace?
I'm going to go with the Broncos. And
You're a Flacco? Yeah, you like that one?
Yeah, that was good. No, I just like.
I think you broke Andy.
Andy flipped me off and like kicked his
left.
That was going to be Andy's hot take was the Broncos winning, and you beat him to it.
Yeah. Well, no, the reason I want to is because if the Chiefs lose and we somehow beat the Packers at Lambeau, we are tied for first in the NFC West.
Yeah.
That and like Jesse said.
Actually, wouldn't it be a three-way tie with the Broncos? No.
I'm not sure. No, it's not the Broncos because they were 0-4. But
yeah,
like I said, or like Jesse said, the Chiefs' defense has been horrendous.
It's so bad.
I've been the biggest Joe Flacco detractor, but the past couple of games he hasn't looked great. But he's making the throws when it counts, and the pass rush for the Broncos and that defense is finally coming around.
Yep.
I'll take the Broncos at home. I'll take the upset. I got to make up some ground on Kevin.
Yep. What do you got, Kevin?
Well, I hate to agree with Jace, so I'm going to disagree with Jace and go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
All right, Andy, what do you got?
Tyreek Hill's back, you fucking idiot.
I know. I didn't start him last week, and I would have won against you, you fuck. Was it you or did I play you or did I play Jesse? I can't remember. I played one of you two, and if I would have played Tyreek Hill, I would have won because I had Amari Cooper and Emmanuel Sanders, and they both scored me 1 fucking point apiece.
Because you suck.
Chiefs it is for Andy. Coming up, we got the Rams and the Falcons. The Rams with Ramsey in the mix. Do you think he's going to get enough time to get acclimated to be playing enough? I think with a cornerback, you just say, hey, go cover that guy the game, and then he does it. So I could see them actually getting him in the game, and the Falcons are so bad. I'm going with the Rams. What do you got, Jace?
I'm going to take the Los Angeles Ramses.
Oh, we were just punny as fuck today.
Oh, my God. If anybody was listening, they just turned it off after that. But
they turned it off when you said the Broncos are going to win, dickhead.
Shut the fuck up. Honestly, if anybody listened after you bitched about Frank Gore and Devin Singletary for fucking 45 minutes of first episode.
12 years of
Shut
bad
up.
Football, Jamarcus
Rams will
Russell,
win.
and
Fuck
then
you,
that
Andy.
terrible-ass comment you just made.
So Rams it is. Kevin, what do you got?
Rams.
All right. Andy?
Yeah.
Finally think that the Rams are going to rebound. I swear to God, if they lose against the Falcons, I'm giving up all hope on the Rams.
And before we move on, real quick, our weekly Russell Wilson stat line, because fuck you, Kevin. 23 for 33, 295, and 2 touchdowns.
Again,
but he sucks. You're right.
I'm reversing my statement on Russell Wilson.
You can't. No, we all heard it. Just like
I do what I
Andy's not
want.
allowed to go back on Wendell Smallwood, you can't take it back once it's out into the
we have video evidence.
I still don't believe in the Seahawks.
I'm tagging
we don't care.
Roback in this week's Instagram post.
And Willie Beavers.
And Willie Beavers.
Willie Beavers. That sounds like a name me and Kevin would have named people while we played Madden when we renamed every player.
What do you mean, like Ben Dover and Harry Balzac and
Yeah.
Giant Wang?
As soon as you see the first big dude with a giant beard, you're like, Willie Beavers.
Brett Kiesel gets his name changed on Madden.
Brett Kiesel looks 100% like a Willie Beaver.
Oh, yeah. He has to be wearing flannel all the time. Though.
All the time. Like his jersey, like out the sleeves should be flannel.
Cabin in the wilds of Montana. All right, moving on.
We got another AFC East matchup between the Dolphins and Bills. The Bills have been surprisingly good. It's been mainly on their defense, but the Dolphins are just a dumpster fire. So I definitely am going to go with the Bills on this one. What do you got there, Jace?
Bills are putting the Dolphins through a folding table. Circle the wagons.
What do you got, Kevin?
Yeah, Bills.
Andy?
Josh Allen is going to make his run for his Pro Bowl year in the game. And, yeah, somebody's getting put through a table, and the Ketchman Mustard guy's going to fucking go off.
We should do a live podcast from a Bills. We should go to a tailgate.
Go to
not
a
even
tailgate.
Go to a game. Not even buy tickets.
Just drive to Buffalo to go to a tailgate.
Let's do it.
It's 2 hours.
We could have a really awesome video of Kevin, like, 5-star frog splashing a table.
And just to complete the whole Andy thing is we put a dummy on there with wearing a Marcus Mariota jersey.
No, we have to put a Russell Wilson.
No, we just put Andy on the table wearing a Marcus Mariota jersey.
There we go.
That's it. That's
and
the
you
key right
you
there.
got to take one for the
Maddie
team,
is sitting there listening to this going, I love every bit of this idea.
Yeah. Kill my husband.
She's going to be looking for that Facebook stream, hoping for some life insurance.
Oh, I have a pile of that.
The next game is the Jaguars against the lowly Bengals. I know they just lost Ramsey, but I don't think there's much that can't beat the Bengals right now, so I got to go with the Jaguars in this one. Jace?
What a shit show.
This is another dumpster game.
I'll tell you what, as much as we have shit on the Bengals, if you look at their games, they haven't really, 23-17 against the Ravens. 26-23 against the Cardinals. Every game, other than the Steeler game, obviously, was a blowout. They've been really close in every single one. And
Dalton's putting up a lot of yards, too.
Well, 49ers blew them out, too, now that I'm looking at it. But I'm going to take the Bengals in this one. I don't know why. I just have a weird feeling the Jags aren't for real.
Okay.
So.
What do you got, Kevin?
Who do you Minshew, bitch?
Hey, do you want a who do you voodoo? Andy, what do you got?
I'm going to take the Jags.
Just silence.
I take the Bengals every fucking week. I'm going to take the Jags.
John Ross is going to have a breakout game this week.
They are.
All right, next game is the Vikings at the Lions. The Lions, I feel like, were robbed last week, but they are rocking a 2-2-1 record. They're kind of in a bad spot. The Vikings actually are starting to look good. Cousins is playing better. Mr. Rogers over there is getting everybody to be happy and friendly again in the neighborhood. So I think I'm actually going to go with the Vikings on this one.
We should have went with the Vikings this week when we bet on the Eagles.
Yes.
Like fucking dummies.
That parlay would have gone through and I would have won $180 on a 40 bet. Or $300 some dollars on a $40 bet.
I think I lost every single bet I placed last week. That was horrible. But now, the Lions are a better team than their record shows, but I got to go with I can't take Kirk Cousins. I'm so conflicted.
I know.
I'm going to take the Lions.
The bad thing is, too, the Vikings are 0-2 against divisional opponents this season. So,
well, I'm
taking
only
2 losses have been divisional.
I really thought about it, but I'm taking the Lions. Fuck Kirk Cousins.
Kevin, what do you got?
Fuck Kirk Cousins.
Okay. And Andy?
Matthew Stafford's wife's hot. So the Lions.
Like, okay.
Just had to get that in there.
They just you're a piece of shit. They just did a spiel yesterday about how she had a fucking brain tumor and all this other heartwarming stuff. And now you're like,
yeah, she's smoking hot.
His wife's bangable. I'll pick them. That's why. Andy Stewart is your all the rage douchebag.
Well, no, how does that make him a bad person? He's like, I don't care that she's got cancer. I'd still fuck her.
We have to edit that. We can't post that. We can't post that.
Oh, we have to dump this whole hour of recording now. Start it over, guys. Take number 732.
There has to be a way to just edit that. Kevin, why did you have to do that? Why?
Hey, if Hitler won an NBA championship.
What the fuck?
Oh, no.
Man, Andy, I wish you were there for that. God damn, those were good days.
Did we really? I'm sorry, but did we really just get to the picks and now we got to restart?
No, we did not have to restart.
Thank God.
Man. Whew.
Holy shit.
All right.
Cut that part out.
I just edit over it with like happy-go-lucky music the whole time.
Just cut it. We didn't even talk about the Vikings and Lions game this week.
Break out the worst in it.
Okay.
I thought that was quality podcast material. I know you guys
all
are all upset about.
The Raiders at the Packers.
12 years of bad football. Jamarcus Russell and me and your mom don't love each other.
Bill Callahan and now we have.
And you get 2
Christmases.
Christmases.
I told your Aunt Jen about that today.
Yes.
What did she think about that?
She laughed.
Yeah, that's. Oh man.
That's quality.
She laughed and went, "Yeah, those were bad years."
Okay. Raiders at the Packers. Packers have 7 consecutive wins versus the Raiders. I'm sorry, Jace, but I feel like I got to go with the Pack on this one.
As much as I want to go with the Packers, after I can't pick against them 2 straight weeks after I picked the Bears, so.
Do you want me to put a bias pick asterisk beside this?
Oh, bullshit, because every time
bias
you guys
button.
have picked the fucking Steelers this year, you'd have to have that goddamn asterisk
I
next
know.
to it.
It's
All
true.
I said was I picked the Bears last week, and they lost, so I can't pick against them 2 weeks in a row. I really hope we win this game. Fuck you. You don't get a bias button. I'm 3-on-1 in this fucking podcast, Kevin. Fuck you. I'm taking the Raiders.
Kevin, who do you got?
Packers are going to make it 8 in a row against the Raiders.
Right. What do you got, Andy?
Cheese.
Oh, this has been a clusterfuckery of a podcast.
Cheese on Matt Stafford's wife's tits.
What the? All the assholes.
Jace, with that headset and that iPad, looks like a coach in the sideline. That's just like watching the game right now. He's like,
he looks like Bruce Arians every time James Winston throws a football.
You took the words out of my mouth again. I was about to be just like.
God damn it, Jameis. That's not our color jersey.
Interception. Oh, look. Another interception. Why did I come out of retirement?
Oh, fuck. My ribs hurt. Moving on. Texans at the Colts. This is for first place. Winner pretty much is going to hold down first place in the division. I've been a believer in these Colts. The Texans going in and beating up on the Chiefs was a pretty great game and a great win for the Texans. But I still feel like there's more potential to be unlocked from this Colts team. And I feel like they're going to be able to take it to them. So I'm going with the Colts on this one. Jace, what do you got?
I love you just sinking on this Colts ship, just like Andy has valiantly gone down with his Titanic, literally. Just, I'm the captain of this ship. I'm going to take his fucker to the bottom. And you know what? You can take Frank Reich and Jacoby Brissett to the bottom because the Texans are winning this division and the game. I've told you this a million times.
Yes. What do you got, Kevin?
Well, these teams have both been consistently inconsistent. So I'm going to go with the one consistently good thing that I've seen out of both of those, and that's been Frank Reich as a coach. So I'm going to go with the Colts.
What do you got, Andy?
I'm going to take the Colts.
Wow. Jace,
Suck
the
it,
only
Jace.
Texans pick.
If I get some wins, I am going to leap out in front this week.
Suck it, junk back.
All right, we have another battle of the rookie QBs with Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones. Cardinals at the Giants. Both only have 2 wins. Who do you feel is going to win this? That's tough. I got to go with the Cardinals on this one. And the reason being is I feel like they have more offensive weapons to work with than Daniel Jones does. Yeah, well, I think that Larry Fitzgerald is having a little bit of a resurgence in his career. And I think that, I think he is becoming I think if he can play another 2 years, he's going to pass Jerry Rice and everything. But yeah, I'm going with the Cards in this one.
That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. My God. But yeah, Larry Fitzgerald is having a career resurgence for the 9th time because when you play for 30 years, it's peaks and valleys. But I'm going to go with the Cardinals as well.
Oh, wow. Wow. After you said I was the dumbest fucking thing.
No, him passing Jerry Rice. He's still not even close to receptions.
I'd love to see it, but he'd probably have to play at least 3 more seasons and have 100 reception seasons. But all right, Andy or Kevin, what do you got?
Go ahead, Jace.
I'm looking up receptions career. So
okay.
Go ahead.
Well, Danny Dimes is going to win this game. Fuck all y'all.
All right, Andy, what do you got?
I hate Cliff Kingsbury, but the Cards are going to win.
Thank you 3 for the game. I appreciate it.
I love getting one up on Kevin there. Then we got the Niners at the Redskins. I don't even know if I have to ask you guys this one, but 49ers.
I am going with the Giants.
Oh, you're going to retract? Oh, he is?
Yeah.
That's official?
Yep.
I'm still not going with the Giants. 49ers win at the Redskins, 5-0 against 1-5. I don't even know if I have to ask you guys who you think.
Well, you don't because you just said it on accident. You said 49ers win at Redskins. That's what you said.
Yeah. You can basically just go ahead and put all 4 of us down for what you just said.
Yeah. 49ers win at Redskins. That's the headline.
Jerry Rice had 1,549 career receptions, and Larry Fitzgerald currently sits at 1,338. So he is just over 200 receptions behind.
So maybe 2 more. Like if he went another 2 seasons, he could in theory do it.
You're saying in theory he's going to have 2 basically 100 reception seasons back to back.
What's he on pace for this season? 6 games.
I'm gonna have to do some math, so that'll take some time. Keep going.
Chargers versus the Titans, both 2-4 teams, both garbage teams. But the Chargers have won 11 of the past 12 games against the Titans, including the playoffs. I don't even know what to say at this game. I got to go with the only legitimate person in this game, and that's Phillip Rivers and his 13 children. I got to go with the Chargers on this one. Jace?
Phillip Rivers, because the Titans are so bad.
Yeah. Kevin, what do you got?
I'm actually going to have to go with the Tennessee Titans on this one because I think their defense is going to shut down Phillip Rivers, and they'll be able to score just enough to win.
All right. What do you got, Andy? I don't even know if I have to ask you. What did you say?
Titans.
Okay. Very good insight there. Saints at the Bears. Ted, like we mentioned earlier, Teddy has won 7 of his last 8 road starts. I believe this is really the last week before they think that Breeze can be back, if I'm not mistaken. Teddy's 4-0, and I think they put a timetable as 4 to 6 weeks on.
No, it was 6 to 8.
It was moved to 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it started out at 6 to 8.
Oh, I thought it was 4 to 6 for some reason.
No, that was Saquon.
Okay.
And then he beat that.
So, I mean,
yeah, they're on a
Teddy's-
bye, so they expected him to be back at 8.
I gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. That's what I was thinking. I think that the Bears defense is great, but I think that Teddy can go in here, do the things right. Kamara can still come out and have a great game. I think the Saints are going to go into Chicago and win this one. What do you got, Jace?
I am a huge believer in this team currently, even with Teddy Bridgewater right now. Chase Daniel is a dumpster fire. Even with that defense, the Saints win. Real quick, I just ran the numbers on Larry Fitzgerald. So he is currently averaging about 5.8 catches per game. So if you round up, we'll say he's getting about 6 catches per game, which 6 times 16 equals he's on pace for about 96 catches this year.
Okay. I mean,
but if we look at his past stats, last year he had 69 catches. He's only ever gone over 100 or 90 catches in his career. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years out of how many ever fucking years? The million years he's been
or whatever he's played. So
almost 50%.
Yeah. So it's leaning more towards a 3-year career to be able to break that. But he could, in theory, do it in 2.
He probably wants it at this point, though.
Yeah, I think that's. Do you think he can do the Emmitt Smith thing and just play it out until he reaches that goal and then retire out that year?
I hope so.
I would love to see Larry go down like that. And the only thing that sucks is he never got a Super Bowl, and I don't see him getting one anytime soon. But unless he moves to another team.
He should have gotten one. James Harrison didn't score.
Yes, he did.
No,
he rode Larry Fitzgerald's back into the end zone.
His knee was down before. He didn't cross the line. Just like Franco didn't catch that ball.
Wow.
And Tom Brady fumbled.
Judah Franco.
Saints or Bears, Kevin?
Bears.
Ooh, Bears. Okay. What do you got, Andy?
Saints.
Okay. We have talked for 20 minutes trying to do our picks now. Ravens at the Seahawks. That's going to be an actual real good game. This is the first time Earl Thomas is going to be back at Seattle since he left. I think this is going to be I really feel as if this is still going to be a Seahawks victory. I feel like the Seahawks are going to sweep the AFC North. And probably going to be one of those games where it looks like the Seahawks are going to lose up until the last 5 minutes. Going with the Seahawks on this one. Chase?
Sea Chickens, just because I hope they win like 7 of their next 8, just so Kevin has to eat shit.
Kevin, what do you got?
Sea Chickens, because once again, I've said I don't have faith in them when it comes to playoffs.
He keeps. Oh my God! Just go ahead and moonwalk out of the wall of your apartment, for fuck's sake. You're almost in your neighbor's apartment.
Andy, what do you got?
As I said, I don't believe in the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
Or Russell Wilson.
You just said playoffs, now it's Super Bowl.
And then they'll be in the Super Bowl. He's like,
I don't believe in the Seahawks team as being the greatest team of all time.
I don't believe in Russell Wilson in the Pro Bowl.
All right, we got the Eagles and the Cowboys, 2 faltering teams in the same division right now. This is going to be the best of the worst right now. Who do you think comes out on top? I'm the first pick. I'm going to go. Oh, man, this is tough. I got to go with the Cowboys on this one.
What?
I just feel like the secondary over in Philly is not doing well right now. If Cooper plays, then the Cowboys take advantage of it. What do you got, Jace?
As somebody who I had like a $1,500 parlay miss because of the Jets winning last week, I will never, ever bet on the Cowboys ever again. Eagles win.
All right. Kevin, what do you got?
Eagles.
All righty. Andy, what do you got?
Fly, Eagles, fly.
All right. I'm the only Cowboyer. And then last but not least, our lovely Monday night game. The 6-0 Patriots against the 1-4 Jets. I don't even have to say it. Patriots are going to win.
I'll tell you what,
Jace.
I'm going to take the Patriots, but I do think it's going to be a close game because Brady can't have his normal game in Miami where he loses or it's closer than it should be.
Oh, God, you're killing me.
What are you doing, Andy?
That's like really bad, Andy.
Andy, that's
Andy,
like
you got to
really
take it out.
staticky bad. You got to pull it. I'm sorry.
But yeah, basically, Pats win.
Yeah.
It's going to be close.
You took the words out of my mouth. I think it's going to be a Pats win in a close game.
What do you got, Andy?
Pats.
All righty. And that is it. All right, so we got our picks in. I will be posting those up online here shortly. Do you have any last words, any last little tidbits you want to add in before we sign out here?
I don't think the Seahawks will be able to repeat the Super Bowl that they're going to win this year.
Bring
Matthew
back
Stafford's cheesy tit wife is delicious.
Why, Kelly Stafford, please do not listen to this podcast.
I don't think we have any worries there.
I am putting out a bat signal to all the old. Well, this will be really cool.
This just in: Matthew Stafford's wife just filed a restraining order against me.
I was about to say they're gonna be like, "Hey, these guys are really funny," and then they're gonna go back and listen to our old episodes and be like, "Oh, well, there's that."
Yeah, well, there's that.
I'm putting out a bat signal to all the old NFL referees: Ed Hockley, John Perry, all these guys. Except Gene's territory, you can take your index card and shove it up your ass and stay in the fucking booth.
Walt Anderson.
Yeah, we miss some of the officiating. Feel like there's got to be a school of NFL officiating, and people need to go through an entire off-season training program to be able to fucking actually do their job properly. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us again on All the Rage Sports Podcast. We'll be signing off now. You'll see our post here shortly with audio and video posting up on our Facebook, on our website, and as always, you can hear us on Spotify and iTunes podcasts. If you ever feel generous, go to our webpage. It's on our Facebook page there. Go to our webpage and hit a donation donate to our PayPal. We still have $0 in there right now.
And after last Sunday, Jesse needs a new putter. So
yeah, big time. All right, thank you, everybody. This is All the Rage Sports Podcast. Rage on, everyone.